again, and welcome to Rolynn's Reviews. Uh, you see, we have Miss Rhonda Morrison, aka Miss Spicy. She's back in the house, and I promised you that she would be back. Hello, Jermaine, JoJo, Primetime, Chef, my partner, Finest Wine, everyone who's in the chat section. Hello, how are you? Welcome to the show. And so, every time Miss Spicy is here, how you doing, Sugar Daddy? We have some very pertinent topics that we are discussing, and you know the spiel. Type any questions that you may have in the comment section, and I'm sure. How you doing, Keith? Glad to have you here, and I'm sure Miss Spicy will be glad to respond. So, Miss Morrison and I were talking. We do a lot of talking about different situations that are affecting communities of color in particular. And we were just talking about how, okay, if you watch the news, it's kind of depressing. And particularly when you're talking about the large inner cities, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore, all right, um, LA, we've even talked about it, Compton. So usually when you see those communities mentioned on the news, it's nothing positive. It's usually negative, and it's usually someone being shot and killed. So, Miss Morrison and I were talking on the phone, I think just a few days ago, and we were both saying the same thing. And they say great minds think alike. But we were both saying the same thing. If you have children, why the heck would you stay in that environment? Because all you see are mothers and other family members on the news practically every night complaining, saying, okay, either a son was killed, nephew, brother, father, whoever. And so we were just like, why would you stay in this environment? And then she started telling me some things, and we continued to talk, and she was talking about, there are things that people can do to try and get out of that environment. So Miss Morrison, you can go ahead and get started, and then I'll get into some statistics, and just welcome to the show. And what do you have to say on this particular topic?
Well, I mean, everybody's mostly in here have seen First 48. They have somebody got shot,
Right.
and Pookie in the police station, cold in the room. He put his hand through the t-shirt. When they put their hand through the t-shirt, they get ready to tell it all. Okay,
Right.
they say
Right.
snitches get stitches.
That's
Look,
what
they mean us. They snitch on each other. We don't have to snitch on them. They get ready to spill that tea.
they are.
And but in all serious, this is really a serious topic.
Mhm.
Our beautiful black males are getting killed out there on the daily all around the country. And just think about, I remember when we had a family reunion for my family, and we had that literal tree on our t-shirts. And think about all the branches of the tree that are being senselessly cut off.
Mm-hmm.
We've only had one black president. Think about all the black presidents, the CEOs, the doctors, the lawyers, the nurses that are possibly not going to exist because of all of these family trees that are being cut off, these branches that are being cut off of these family trees because of something stupid. And these kids nowadays, they real sensitive. If
Very.
you look at them the wrong way, if
Mhm.
you say one little comment, because I'm from the 80s. We used to pick at each other all the time, and we won't
Yep.
cry about it. We just sucked it up and we went on. We said we had to say. We
Right.
fought, whatever. If you lost a fight, you just lost a fight and you moved on with it.
Right.
We try to go back and get a gun and try to shoot up the house and all of that stuff. We just, hey, we fight. But nowadays, everybody is very sensitive about things and take things to heart. And now they want to, it's the shootings are escalated. We used to be able to have parties. We can't have parties anymore, house parties anymore, because you can't have a house party. As soon as they bring out the good punch, somebody want to start shooting, and the party ends. So, but this is a very serious topic. There have been, I'm tired of looking at First 48 or those other shows. You see everybody with the t-shirt on. The t-shirt business is booming in the hood, y'all. It's booming. T-shirt and balloons. That business is booming. And I'm tired of seeing that. I don't know about you, but there have been a lot of different things that people have tried to do to actually improve the situation. And when you put a whole bunch of people with no money in a very confined space, in spaces that they don't own, we all know that's not a good mix. We all know that that's going to create problems.
Right.
That's a lot of anger and poverty in one space. And it's not good. And so what we decided to, and we've seen it where the OGs that are older and wiser now and say, oh wow, I did this as a kid, but this is actually stupid. Now my son and my grandsons are being killed. So maybe we should try to do something. So they have these meetings, and yet and still the killing keeps continuing. You have the moms and the grandmas coming together, trying to come up with things to make it situations better. That's not working. The police come together trying to make things better, trying to figure things out. It's not getting any better.
No.
Politicians have tried things. It's not getting any better. Okay. So what I want to talk about, or what we want to talk about today, is maybe individuals need to think about, okay, I'm pregnant with a son. Girls are getting in the gangs now too, but it's most people know that. Let's just call it what it is. I would like for my son to make it past 25 years old. So maybe I need to leave this area.
Okay.
10 times out of 10, he's probably, if I stay here, he's probably not gonna make it past 25. And I go back to let's go back to right after slavery ended, or even during slavery. These people would walk from the south to the north into Canada,
right,
and have to dodge through and make sure that they didn't get captured,
right,
and sent back to the south. They walked. So I'm pretty sure that LaToya can make it to two counties over from where she lived, from the inner city, to make a life for herself, because she's possibly on welfare, and your welfare transfers, your Section 8 transfers, your food stamp transfers. Okay, all of that stuff transfers. Pick your kids up, get on that bus, get you some fried chicken in a bag for some snacks, and get over there to a better life for your kids. Because I'm gonna tell you what, if I was in that position, and I have been in that position, not necessarily in living in a bad situation like that, but I've been poor before,
right,
and I made things happen. But I think it's more of a mindset though. And I know that, people are, when people have lived in that situation, that they were born into that situation and they grew up in that situation and they got that mindset. It's all about changing that mindset.
Yeah.
And it's like my pastor last week was talking about, and I'm not anyway trying to compare a dog with a person, so don't think I'm doing that. But it's like his dog, he trained his dog, okay, this is, you sleep in this cage at night, and you stay in there, until I come and get you out in the morning.
Right.
But in the cage is the latch is broken, so his dog actually could get out if he wanted to.
Oh yeah.
But his mindset is that he can't get out because he thinks he's locked in. They're not locked in.
It's mindset.
And there comes, there's all kinds of excuses to stay. My family's here. This is what I know. This is where I feel comfortable. Sometimes you got to get out of your comfort zone.
Right.
For me, I'm a mother. I want my child to live. And I'm going to do whatever it takes for my child to live. If that means that I have to get on a bus with as much as I can carry and go 2 towns, 3 towns, 2 counties over, and go in, because the social services is everywhere. It's a county in the United States.
They are.
And when you go into a social service office with your kids and your stuff and say, look, I'm homeless, I have these kids, I'm poor, I'm hungry, they have to provide you with food and shelter. And they will help you while you in the shelter get a job.
Right.
If that's what you need, or housing or whatever, they'll help you get on your feet and start over. But I'm gonna tell you what, if I was in that situation, I want my son to live past 25. I don't know about anybody else, but I want my son to live. I'm gonna get my child out of that situation. I want my kids to be successful.
If I can interject, Miss Morrison, something about that you said earlier. I was recently watching some documentaries on YouTube, and like you mentioned earlier, so who thought it would be a good idea? And that's why you see all across America, they're tearing down those housing projects. Mm-hmm. Who thought it would be a good idea? And we know why it was done initially, but to take a whole bunch of people, low wealth people, low on resources, put them all together. What did you expect? Of course, you're going to have high crime. And we were talking just earlier today. Now, those of you who've been on the channel for a while, I did a video on the Great Migration when African Americans were leaving the South, going north, for jobs, educational opportunities, to escape Jim Crow. Mm-hmm. Now, there are no jobs. So you have a bunch of people who don't have jobs, low on resources. What do you expect? And that is one reason they're tearing down all. I've watched, a few documentaries, that they tore down the Robert Taylor homes and mm-hmm. Cabrini Green in Chicago. There, of course, they're notorious. But what do you expect with people, a bunch of poor people who are low on resources? What else are they going to do? And they feel like they have nothing.
And they're displacing. I mean, they're gentrifying. The brownstones used to be owned by Black people. The row houses in Washington, D.C. used to be owned by Black people. Now, downtown Atlanta used to be owned by Black people. And they're pushing them out everywhere. They're being pushed out. And also, Miami Beach is actually eroding, and so they're taking over Little Haiti in Florida.
Oh wow!
Yeah, they just built the first Starbucks. Once the first Starbucks go up, that's it.
Oh wow! So we've talked about the statistics, and of course, any of us who watches the news, we know usually again it's the Black males who are being murdered. So I have some statistics here that I'll share with you all, and you may hear about some of these. And I shared the link in the description box on homicide statistics. I got this from a government website. So then this is in percents. Whites killing Blacks, that's according to the website, 2%. Blacks killing whites is at 81%. Police killing whites is 3%. Police killing Blacks is 1%. Whites killing whites is 16%, and then Blacks killing Blacks is 97%. But again, if you look at the news, it's usually you see Black males on there more than anyone else. And so, of course, again, the large cities we hear about, Chicago, Detroit, Compton, Baltimore. So, if you look at these large cities, you have people with no jobs, again, uh, low wealth, low on resources. You don't have a lot of, corporate companies there. Okay, they've pulled out. So what are people supposed to do, right, Keith? 97%, sweetie. I shared the
It's
link in the
97%.
description. Yeah.
It's been 97. It's been 97% for about a decade.
Right. So why and I mentioned to Miss Morrison earlier. Now, if you look at the black males who are protesting that Black Lives Matter, so that you're saying one thing, but you're doing something else. You're killing each other. And in Philadelphia, oh my God, Lady Libra, I don't know when I'll go back to Philadelphia. And I grew up in Allentown, which is approximately 54 miles from Philadelphia. I'm telling you, Philadelphia is a scary place. And every time you go, you get out of your car, people will come to you begging for money. It's a scary place. So Ms. Morrison and I were talking, and we know we've been hearing about poverty programs for years. Of course, AmeriCorps, Job Corps, the Yes Project, Club, Girls Club. You hear about all these programs, but nothing works. And those of you who've been on the channel for a while know Miss Spicy will tell it like it is. A lot of this ties into what she said in reference to education. It needs to come down to personal responsibility and accountability.
Mm-hmm.
And Rhonda, why do you think, like with education, of course, Ms. Morris is retired from teaching now, but it's the same way. Why do you think they won't hold people accountable and responsible for their actions?
Well, it's not. I think that, like I said, I think that they have just. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't, because I'm a mother. I don't understand it.
Right. Right.
If I was, like I said, if I lived there personally and I had a son, there's no way I would stay there. I'm just that kind of person.
Right.
I don't know if they've gotten numb to it or what. But if I'm sleeping in my bed at night and I'm starting to hear gunfire every night, I'm sorry, but I'm moving.
Right.
That's me.
Right.
So I don't know what we need to do to get these people to reprogram themselves, but that's what needs to happen, because all these other programs are not working. They're not. All this kumbaya is not working.
No.
So somebody just need to say, girl, really? Move. Are you serious? You putting your kids in danger. This school that they go to is crap. Why are you sending your kid to this school? I wouldn't let my kid go to this school.
Mm-mm.
They got to pass through a metal detector.
Yep.
You sending your kid somewhere that's as dangerous as the airport? No.
Yep.
Are you stupid? No.
Yep.
Get your life.
Right.
I mean, that's how I would approach it.
Right.
I'm sorry, but all PC go out the window when you're talking about the life of a child.
And you see it all the time. These small, I mean, I think there was a 6-year-old girl
the
that was
got
there.
To go.
Right. I mean,
yeah, and that's another thing. Okay, if you're gonna be a gangster, please go to the shooting range and practice. Okay.
Right.
Go practice, because you don't know how to shoot. You're just shooting up everybody.
Right.
Raise the price on bullets or something.
Right.
Okay. You got to make it so that they got to put their bullets on layaway. Something.
Kay Will said they feel like they have no other choice. So Rhonda, you and I discussed what are some things that these women, single parents, can do, or so far as okay,
leave. That's it. Leave. Listen, the ghetto is not going to change for you. You have to do the changing. That's what's wrong with our society today. They expect everybody else to change.
Right.
They expect everybody else to change. You are the one that has to change.
Right. Facts. So
you can't sit there and wallow and cry and moan because the world won't conform to you and how you think.
Facts. And let me see. That's right. Now, Kay Will said they feel they have no other choice. But again, we spoke earlier. What are some things? Okay, so you're struggling financially. Aren't there some things you can forego or give up for? We talked about that.
But that's the thing, they don't have to give up. If you are, listen, they're already in the projects. If you already poor, you already on the system. The system is everywhere. The system is in Wyoming. The system is in DC. The system is in California. The system is everywhere, and the system is transferable.
Right.
Take your Medicaid card, your EBT account, your EBT card, and all of that is transferable. All they got to do is contact your social services where you were in DC and get it transferred. Your Section 8 is transferable. That's a federal program. Listen, there is no excuse. There's nothing nobody can say. There's no excuse for the life of your child. I don't want to hear. Nobody can tell me anything to convince me otherwise.
Right. So Rhonda, we talked about, and we've heard it described, the inner cities that we mentioned earlier. Those of you just coming in, we've been primarily talking about Baltimore, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia. So now the term Black flight from war-torn inner cities is what they're being called.
Good.
So right. So now those of you who've been on the channel for a while, you know I did a video on the Great Migration. So now you have the migration of African Americans from predominantly Black or mixed inner city areas in the United States. And this has been going on since the late 80s, early 90s. They're coming back. So the people who left for better opportunities now, they're older, they're retired, they're moving back to the South. And of course, they don't want to be shot. And so if you look at it, let me tell you why. So the original Great Migration was roughly 1910 to 1970, where African Americans were leaving the South. Let me tell you why they were leaving, and then compare it to why there are some, or we have a slight migration going on now for those who are able to get out of the inner city. Now, the original migration, they were escaping racial violence. Mm-hmm. There was more economic opportunities, more educational opportunities, freedom from oppression. Of course, at that time, Jim Crow was going on, and we couldn't get jobs except for maybe custodial jobs or taking in people's laundry, things of that nature. So, but if we talked about this earlier, Rhonda, maybe instead of going to get your hair and nails done on a weekly basis, how about save some money, and a bus ticket's the cheapest you can get, right?
Yeah.
So it's about making sacrifices. And what do you think about that? People making sacrifices?
They should. I would sacrifice. I mean, what is the life of your child worth? What is your child's quality of your child's education and their future? What is that worth?
Okay.
And the thing about it is, there are places in the Midwest like Wyoming and all of those places. And I mean, if you really want to be drastic about it, they're trying to get people to come. There are some school systems with 100 people in the whole 100 students in the whole school system.
Yeah.
Some of them have one school in the whole. I'm talking about a whole school system. There are so many underpopulated places in our country that Black people, they want Black people. Okay, they want anybody. When they have like immigrants come over from Africa and places like that, they like, please come here. We have no people. Please come here. There were actually there was a call center I remember of I don't know what kind of call center it was, but I know it was a call center. Right. It was in one of the Dakotas. They had to actually close it down and move it because there were not enough employees. There wasn't enough people in the town to keep it open. So you have to open up your mind and be responsible for yourself. You're the one who chose to have the children. And you
Right.
have to do what's best for your children, not what's best for you, not what makes you feel comfortable,
Right.
not what makes you feel safe, but you have to do what's best for your children. Okay.
That makes sense to me. Keith Ingram said Chris Rock said $80 a bullet. Golden Nova says not only money, but they need to give us essentials to live, like hospitals ran by Black doctors, like grocery stores with healthy foods. And we know nutrition is another issue. Education has money to provide resources and etc. Kay Will says, but if I leave, I lose my Section 8, my food stamp benefits. That's how they think. Now,
That's
there
that's
is
how
an
I
issue
think.
with housing now. We know the waiting list for Section 8 housing is through the roof right now because of what's going on with the rent crisis.
That's in overpopulated places, but I mean there are some places where
Right,
it's not like that.
right. So again, are we willing? Would we be these people be willing to move to those places, or do you have to be around all the action with the bullets flying?
Yeah. Some
So,
people like drama.
uh-uh.
But I prefer not to live in the wild, wild west if a bullet's gonna come flying through the house and kill my kids.
Right, right. And I agree. And again, that's why I wanted to talk about this topic because, again, if you look at the news, every day, and they just buried a girl. I think she was 6 years old, and people now we've been talking about primarily northern cities, and then we talked about Compton out on the West Coast. But Rhonda, now we live in North Carolina, and I was telling someone recently you would think it's getting bad here too. I mean, Durham, Greensboro.
Um,
I tell you, we were just
I
in
think I,
Winston-Salem.
I think if there's evidence, personally, I think if there's evidence that people are in gangs and it results in gang violence, treat them as terrorists.
Right. So you think there should be stiffer penalties for them?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like this: if they kill a child or something like that, and they killing each other, to me, a gang is what's the
Terrorists.
difference in? I mean, I know that the Proud Boys stormed the Capitol, but
Right.
if you want to be in a gang, go ahead and be in a gang. But when they catch you doing something wrong and violent, you're a terrorist. Because to me, they're honestly, if y'all just heard it, 97%, and they're killing the males. They're killing each other's. They're all males mostly.
Mostly. Yeah.
Doesn't that sound like genocide?
Sounds like it to me.
Don't we need sperm to populate?
Unless you're going to be cloned.
That's genocide. That's terrorism.
Yep.
So you want to be big and bad enough to be in a gang, then serve that terrorism time then.
Right? Stiffer, harsher sentences. I agree. Kay Will says, but on the flip, if you leave the hood projects, then they want to still act like they're still in the hood. The schools are now being taken over by young thugs that live in gated communities. Oh, that's a good
Exactly.
point.
Oh, those fake thugs. Those are those fake thugs. I tell you what, put a gun in their mouth
And see what
and
happens.
see what kind of thug they really are. Because I bet you what they're gonna be crying for their mama and talking about my mama gonna call our lawyer. Oh, you got a lawyer on down? Okay. Thugs don't have lawyers on down. Is that your homework on the desk over there? Thugs don't do homework.
Right. They don't. Sugar Daddy said they are domestic terrorists, which is exactly what you said.
Yeah. I used to pick at my students that wanted those wannabe terrorists. I'm
Right.
like, boy, you turn your homework in every day. Thugs don't do homework. Sit your behind down. Mm.
Now you see, Miss Spicy was definitely too real for her students.
The first thing you do every day is turn your homework in, and
You're
it's all hundreds. Come on.
you're not a thug. Stop it. Oh my goodness.
You
So
ain't no thug.
right. Golden Nova says people are upset because of the living conditions the government is keeping in certain demographics. People need to clean their own neighborhood. Right, Golden Nova? Let's, because think back, folks. Rhonda, we talked about this a while back, years and years ago, before African Americans really started progressing. Yeah, we may have been, and I'm talking 20s, 30s, I'm talking a long time ago. People were poor, but you didn't know they were clean. Their neighborhoods were clean. They had pride. So just because you were poor didn't mean that you had a filthy home or yard. But now it's the exact opposite. They don't care. You understand what I'm saying?
So you want a free place to live, and you want the government to clean it up for you.
No
account. So you want maid service too.
Wow. Golden Nova's laughing at you. Yeah, hey, that's a good one right there. That's a good one.
You know what? Get a job. Do that and get your own place.
Right.
Because guess what? Let me tell you something. When I got divorced and there was only one income and 2 kids in the house, what I did was I would go on my job and teach kids all day, and then get off that job and go to Video Hut. After I left that job and go to Video Hut and ring my students up in the afternoon.
Video Hut. Oh,
Video Hut.
Not even Blockbuster Video.
Not even that, the knockoff Blockbuster. Video Hut, and ring my students up in the afternoon with no shame.
I can't with you.
And look, also now, and then the third job was teaching GED.
Oh, wow. So you did what you had to do. That concept is so foreign to so many people.
And you got people, you got these jobs that they begging for people to work.
Yes, they are.
Begging everywhere. People to work.
Everywhere.
Excuses.
Right. But just like a nose, we all have one. K. Will said it's a double-edged sword. No boss me wants to keep, no one wants to take responsibility. First time they're labeled as terrorists, somebody's ready to march. Right, K. Will? Facts. Golden Nova. Parents used to whoop our tails if we mess things up. Right. They don't do that anymore, unfortunately. Keith said, how much of this chaos comes down to the absence of fathers? Oh, that's an excellent question, Rhonda. I'll let you answer that one.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what. I know several households with fathers in them. Fathers, I don't know what happened to fathers. Fathers used to be strict, and you know what? I've had several students I said, I'm gonna call your daddy. They be like, call my daddy, I don't care. But if I say, but then I have to say, well, I'm gonna call your mama. Oh, don't do that now. I'll straighten up. No, I'm good. I don't know what happened. Daddy's done got soft.
But Keith is talking about so he basically primarily talking about I think single mothers.
Well, I know what you're talking about, but I'm just telling you, even with the father in the home nowadays,
they can still be absent.
Even with the father in the home nowadays, fathers, I don't know what's going on with that, but fathers have taken a step back from the raising of their sons, because I know that there are a lot of fathers who are more active in their child's homes now, because there's an uptick in fathers spending time with their children, but the effect is not as great, because you still got fathers who have raised their sons, but their sons are now talking about, why can't I? And I'm saying this because I have a daughter that's 34 and I have a daughter that's 27.
Right.
And I know my daughter that's 34 is in Atlanta, and she's talking about, and she's beautiful and smart, and she makes a lot of money, and she got men asking her, well, why don't you take me on a date? Why can't men have needs too? Why can't you do this for me? Why can't you do that for me?
Oh.
Why does the man have to do everything? Why does the man have to be the leader? Why don't you? What's wrong with the polyamorous relationship? You're not into polyamory? Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's what kind of men are out there now, y'all.
You're
That
right.
want polyamory and want to be treated like a woman.
They've been in
And
mass.
they have daddies at home.
Yeah.
Really? This is what y'all putting out? I didn't raise my daughters like that. I raised my daughter expecting real men.
Well, they better go back about 50, 60, 70 years because,
Wow.
right. And what you're saying is true. I listen to some of the things that they say. And I'm like,
Sometimes it's better for the man to be, I guess, to be absent than to raise men like that.
I can't with
Mm.
you.
And y'all want, and I was wondering why so many women were, turning gay. Why not?
Rhonda, your daughters, I know after they talk trash to them. I can't with you. I cannot any longer. No.
If that's what y'all putting out, I didn't realize I was raising my daughters to prepare for that.
Yeah, that's pretty much. They're pretty soft. They
They
are.
are very soft.
Oh yeah. So yeah, they're very soft. So Golden Nova says they like to blame some single mothers, but some fathers are absent, but out. Not of the whole women have. Yeah, you're right, Golden Nova. Um, Women have smartened up, is what she's saying. So yeah, I just like I said, we just wanted to touch on that. Um, and Sugar Daddy said no comprehension of chivalry anymore. Sugar Daddy, no, your generation is the last generation I think that practices.
But why haven't y'all taught your sons that though? Why y'all teaching y'all sons to be so soft? I don't understand. That's
Sugar
why
Daddy.
they want to shoot everybody because their feelings are hurt so much by anything. They have no heart.
Everything hurts their feelings.
Oh my God.
I think Sugar Daddy has a son or two or two. Sugar Daddy, I'll let you answer that question. What's wrong with these males being so soft? I'll let him answer that.
Ugh.
I don't know. Keith, I don't know if Keith has any sons or not. But yeah, somebody, I'll see if Sugar Daddy can answer that. But that's what we're dealing with. And it's just a sad situation. If China's going to come over here, we've been hearing China's going to come take over the U.S. They're not going to have a lot of fighting to deal with because they're not.
Because they don't even want to be. They get in the military and only do one tour, and if they get past. And I know this from soldiers, if they get past boot camp, because they be calling their mamas. They don't call their daddies. They call their mamas to come pick them up during boot camp. And guess what? The Army's letting them go because they don't want a bunch of punks out there on the battlefield with them.
Sugar Daddy said, I taught mine. I knew Sugar Daddy handled business. Sugar Daddy been here on the channel for a long time. I know he handled his business.
Yeah, and I'm gonna tell you, I have a bonus son, and when I saw the way things were going with his dad, I stepped up the pace and I started toughening up his son.
Right.
And I would just slap him upside the head just off GP. He wouldn't even be doing nothing wrong, and I would smack him in the back of the neck. And then he said, "Why you do that, Miss Ron?" I said, "I know you're not about to cry."
Look at that face.
And then I would do things to put it this way. I would do things to tough him up because his parents weren't even going to let him play football. I said, no, he's going to play football. Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, you're right about that.
Because he needed to toughen up because won't nobody making him tough.
Yep.
You're right. He thanked me for it. He's grown. He still thanks me for it.
Oh yeah, I remember you used to tell me about that. Sugar Daddy said, that's right, respect. K Will, good point. Social media is the new parent, and we know what that has led to. Very good, K Will. I agree. Golden Nova, you're right. We are not united as a people. Everyone's just off, sort of doing their own little thing, or what makes them happy. So that's a definite issue. So I've enjoyed this conversation. Um, don't want to keep you guys all Sunday because I definitely appreciate you coming out. Keith says Dr. Omar Johnson speaks on the issue of systemic policies that creates problems. Oh yeah, Keith, I watch his podcast on YouTube as well, so he has a lot of good content. So I watch him too. And I hope this again. Um, those of you who may have come in late, Rhonda, tell them again, if you are living in a war-torn inner city with bullets flying, poor educational system, poor resources, what are you telling these single mothers to do?
That four-letter word, move. It is so simple. If people who had nothing could do it, you can do it too. It's very simple.
It's been done before.
Personal responsibility. Stop waiting for your oppressor to solve everything for you. You have a brain.
That's right. That's right. Okay. So you heard it from the mouth of Miss Spicy, and you know she'll tell you like it is. And I've often told her because she'll, if you don't want to know the truth, don't ask her because she'll tell you. It may hurt your feelings, but you will definitely, if you listen to her, I'm telling you, you'll be on the right path. Keith Ingram says, move in $80 a bullet. Okay. But Keith's still talking about those bullets.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, if they make them $80 a bullet, less people look. We're not gonna get rid of guns.
Nope.
They just need to make they just need to make the bullets more expensive.
I agree, actually. I said I actually agree with that.
Yeah. Make them expensive.
Right. So Golden Nova said this was so good. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed the live, and I'm not going to keep you because I know some of you, like myself, are preparing for work tomorrow. But I do thank you for coming on again. Remember, if there's a topic that you would like for us to discuss, type in the comment section when the video is over. Tina says, didn't outcome-based education teach students that as long as you try, you're not wrong? Well, Tina, you're right about that. Thank you, Keith, cousin Keith. End of the bench. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you guys for coming out. I hope this has been informative because Rhonda and I were talking about this, like what is the best thing for people to do, and Rhonda's been saying it all along. MOVE. Move by any means necessary. So put off a few hair appointments, nail appointments, whatever you spend your money on. Thank you, Lady Libra. And like I said, sacrifice, get out, and then you can get back maybe to some type of normalcy, the way normal people live, and you're not dodging bullets every day. I mean, that I feel bad for the older people who are trapped in those communities as well. So we're talking about the children. Think about the older people who were there, who moved there initially for jobs, and now they're old, they're trapped, and they're dealing with that nonsense as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, JoJo. Great show. Love the topic. Very necessary conversation. Thank you. Thank you, K. Will and Joe, Lady, everyone who came in. Thank you so much. This is our channel, collectively speaking, and it couldn't happen without you. And so Miss Spicy will be back. Don't worry. Right, Angelica, definitely it is a concept that a lot of them have no clue about. So thank you guys. Everyone be safe. We'll be back here again next Sunday, 4:00 p.m. on the Rolynn Reviews YouTube channel. And take care.